Welcome to Series Addict, the channel where we celebrate the stories that shaped modern television. Today we step into the quirky, brilliant, and hilariously awkward world of The Big Bang Theory, a show that turned science into comedy, geeks into icons, and laughter into a language spoken by millions. When The Big Bang Theory first aired in 2007, few could have predicted it would become one of the most successful sitcoms of all time. Created by Chuck Lorre and Bill Prady, the series took a simple concept, a group of socially awkward scientists navigating life, love, and friendship, and turned it into a phenomenon that redefined what television comedy could be. At its core, the show revolves around two physicists, Leonard Hofstadter and Sheldon Cooper, who share an apartment in Pasadena, California. Their daily routines are a mix of research, video games, comic books, and highly structured habits. Their world is turned upside down when Penny, an aspiring actress from Nebraska, moves into the apartment across the hall. What begins as a clash of worlds soon blossoms into an endearing, chaotic, and deeply human friendship. And eventually, romance. What set The Big Bang Theory apart was its unapologetic embrace of intellect and eccentricity. The show didn't just tolerate the quirks of its characters, it celebrated them. Sheldon's obsessive adherence to rules, Leonard's quiet longing for connection, Raj's selective mutism around women, and Howard's overconfidence all became the ingredients for an endless source of humor. Yet beneath the laughter, there was always a pulse of sincerity. A story about belonging, about the search for companionship, and about finding your people, no matter how unconventional they might be. The show's creators built a universe that felt both exaggerated and real. Audiences saw themselves in these characters, in their social anxieties, their obsessions, their awkward attempts at love. The brilliance of The Big Bang Theory was its balance. It managed to make jokes about quantum physics and still be completely relatable. It was a sitcom where conversations about string theory could be just as funny as a failed date or a broken elevator. The chemistry between the cast was undeniable. Johnny Galecki brought warmth and subtle emotion to Leonard, grounding the show with a sense of heart. Jim Parsons' portrayal of Sheldon Cooper became legendary, a role so meticulously crafted that it earned him 4 Primetime Emmy Awards and made Bazinga an instant part of pop culture. Kaylee Cuoco gave Penny a relatable charm and emotional depth that made her more than just the girl next door. Together, their interactions created the dynamic that drove the show's heart, the tension between intellect and intuition, logic and emotion. As the seasons went on, the ensemble expanded. Simon Helberg's Howard Wolowitz and Kunal Nayyar's Raj Kutrapalli evolved from comic sidekicks into beloved, fully realized characters. And when Mayim Bialik and Melissa Rauch joined the cast as Amy Farrah Fowler and Bernadette Rostenkowski, they reshaped the entire chemistry of the group. Amy's unique relationship with Sheldon became one of television's most unusual yet heartfelt love stories, while Bernadette's sharp wit and powerhouse personality made Howard's arc surprisingly touching. Over 12 seasons and 279 episodes, The Big Bang Theory grew into something larger than itself. It became a cultural reference point, a show that bridged the gap between nerd culture and mainstream entertainment. Its success wasn't just in the jokes, but in how it humanized intelligence and vulnerability. It showed that scientists could be heroes, that awkwardness could be endearing, and that friendship could be the most profound force in the universe. Behind the scenes, the magic was just as fascinating. The show was filmed in front of a live studio audience, giving it an energy and authenticity that many modern sitcoms lack. Each laugh wasn't just added in post-production, it was real, from people genuinely reacting to the absurdities unfolding on stage. The writers worked closely with real scientists, including UCLA physicist David Saltzberg, who ensured that every equation, every formula written on the whiteboard, was accurate. In doing so, The Big Bang Theory became a rare blend of comedy and authenticity. By the time the show reached its final season in 2019, it had become a global sensation. It wasn't just about the jokes anymore, it was about growth. Fans watched as Sheldon learned empathy, as Leonard and Penny built a family, as Raj sought his independence, and as Howard became a father. What began as a story about outsiders turned into one about connection, maturity, and acceptance. The finale, emotional and understated, felt like a cosmic thank you to the millions who had laughed, cried, and grown alongside these characters. As The Big Bang Theory matured, its success rippled far beyond the television screen. It sparked conversations about science, representation, and what it means to be different in a world that often rewards conformity. The show's writers managed to walk a fine line, blending heartfelt storytelling with precise comedic timing, all while maintaining a level of intellectual authenticity rarely seen in sitcoms. Its impact on pop culture can hardly be overstated. Suddenly, scientific jargon, Star Trek references, and discussions about the Higgs boson became part of mainstream humor. The series didn't just normalize geek culture, it celebrated it. Viewers who once hid their love for comic books, video games, and science fiction began to wear those passions proudly. Conventions saw record attendance, merchandise flew off shelves, and the once uncool became the new cool. Jim Parsons's Sheldon became a symbol, not just of genius, but of social difference. His obsessive routines, inability to grasp sarcasm, and reliance on structure led many to see him as a subtle representation of people on the autism spectrum, though the creators never explicitly confirmed it. Regardless, audiences connected deeply with his journey toward understanding empathy and love. His evolution from rigid scientist to emotionally aware partner made his Nobel Prize acceptance speech in the final episode one of the most moving moments in sitcom history. Equally touching was Penny's transformation. She began as the outsider in a world of intellect, but over time she became the emotional anchor, the one who grounded the group in humanity and reminded them that life isn't just about logic or theory. Leonard's love for her represented the bridge between two worlds, the dream of balance between the heart and the mind. Howard's journey from overconfident flirt to devoted husband and father offered some of the show's richest emotional beats. Raj's struggle with loneliness and self-worth resonated with anyone who has ever felt like the odd one out. And Amy's emergence as Sheldon's intellectual and emotional equal gave the series its most unconventional, yet deeply satisfying romantic payoff. Behind the laughter, there were creative challenges. As the show's popularity soared, so did the actors' influence. By the final seasons, the main cast became some of the highest-paid television actors in history, earning over $1 million per episode. Yet despite the fame and pressure, the chemistry among them never faltered. Their genuine affection for one another was visible both on-screen and off, culminating in a heartfelt final table read that left the entire cast, and many fans, in tears. The series finale, aired on May 16, 2019, closed a chapter in television history. It wasn't just the end of a show, it was the end of an era. The final moments, as Sheldon and Amy received their Nobel Prize and the group sat together eating Chinese food in their familiar apartment, were simple, poetic, and perfect. It reminded fans that, no matter how far these characters had come, they were still the same people who started out awkwardly knocking 3 times on Penny's door. Even after its conclusion, The Big Bang Theory continues to influence television. It paved the way for shows like Young Sheldon, a prequel exploring Sheldon's childhood, which carried on the tone of warmth and curiosity that made the original so beloved. Universities and scientific organizations even reported spikes in interest among young viewers, inspired by the show's portrayal of scientists as relatable, humorous, and human. The magic of The Big Bang Theory lies not in its scientific accuracy, though that was impeccable, but in its humanity. It reminded us that intelligence is not the opposite of emotion, that curiosity and compassion can coexist, and that friendship often bridges the widest of gaps. In a world that can feel chaotic and cold, this show offered comfort, a promise that even if you don't fit in, there's a place where you belong. When we look back at television history, The Big Bang Theory will stand alongside the greats, not because it was flawless, but because it captured the human experience in all its awkward, hilarious, and heartfelt glory. It wasn't just about equations and comic books. It was about connection, about finding humor in imperfection, about realizing that sometimes the biggest discoveries happen not in laboratories, but in the quiet, messy corners of friendship. And as the laughter fades and the final chords of the Bare Naked Ladies' iconic theme song play one last time, we're left with a simple truth. In the universe of television, The Big Bang Theory was, and always will be, a singular explosion of genius, emotion, and joy. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to join us for more deep dives into the shows that define generations. This has been Series Addict, where every story finds its place in the universe of television.